So what's up? How you doing today? We're going to take a look at all the guitar parts in Midnight Rider. We're going to start with the acoustic and go over the three main sections of the tune. I'm going to play with the backing track so you can hear how it sounds in context. I'll break down what's going on. Then we'll do the same for the solo section with the electric guitars. And then an improv thing, looking at some approaches we can do for jamming it out, which they typically didn't do, but I made a backing track where we extended the jam section at the end quite a bit. So we'll get into that and show you some approaches we can take. But for now, let's listen to the main parts of the tune and we'll break down what's going on. So, first off, this tune is in the key of D, but it is not just regular old D. It is more of a blues approach. So it's more of like a D mixolydian, classic kind of Allman Brothers stuff here. And all that means is that you have a C in there. Is that more of that sound you're hearing than a regular D major, which has this F sharp in there. So if this theory is something that you don't know or is new to you, that's confusing, don't worry about that, but we've got this little edge, and that's what you're hearing down below, this C right here. So the beginning, actually, the intro, starts off with this little kind of thing that's like out of time. It's kind of hard to play it exact. It's like, it's kind of like that, just a few times of that. And then the bass and drums kick in, and then we got... So that's that C right there. It's giving it that different sound. And we're not playing the full D, right? It's without that note on top, so it's technically a D power chord. It's a D5, they call it. And that's also the verse. It's the same groove, just going there. So the intro and the verse, minus this little thing, is basically the same thing. Then we've got the chorus, and we're going into a G minor 7, so... And the rhythm is different. The strum, you get that to a C, but not a C like this. It's got that percussive kind of sound. So G minor 7 to C, back to, and that's it. So the chorus is pretty quick. But now the solo section, we are going to the D5, right? Same groove, and then there's kind of like, I call it like solo 2, solo section 2. It now changes the groove, and now we've got to C, and it goes down 2 frets to a B flat, repeats that, does it again, third time, but this time it hangs on the B flat, and it changes the rhythm, builds up back to that, and that's it. So it's a pretty quick tune, and it's mostly just very much repetitive with that part there. So now let's listen to the electric guitar in the chorus. Actually, there is nothing in the intro verse. Super quick, and then we'll do the same thing for the solo section. So when the electric guitar finally comes here, we got Diggy Betts playing these unison bends along with the chorus. And I always think of Hendrix when I hear this because he just would do this so much. You're playing this note and you're bending this note here up to that note, which is the same as this one, so it's the same thing. So it's called a unison bend. And, it's just climbing up, playing the 5th of the G sharp minor, and it's playing the major 3rd of the C chord, and then the major 3rd of the D, even though Again, that acoustic isn't playing that, but he's playing it there. So, and that's it. So pretty simple lead line, but just so nice, smooth, melodic. Just really adds some good tension, and then releases it right there. So now let's listen to the solo section and see what's going on with the two guitars and how they interact. It starts off with Dickie Betts again playing all this stuff that, I got charted out, but not exactly. Just showing you just the basic note approach. It's all this classic country bending stuff using the D major pentatonic, this little position right here, holding this stuff down. When you do this, you play these two notes. If you know this shape right here, it's playing these top three, but playing this one, bending it up. So it gives you that, it sounds like a D major chord. And then here's your D down below. So rather than chart it out exactly, I thought this was a good one to just give you the general approach and just kind of use your ears or come up with your own little melodies there. But, you just kind of playing the notes individually like that, and then bringing it back down. And that's it for the first little solo section. And then when it kicks into the C, then he's doing this, going another unison bend, right? He repeats it. Does it again. And then you get the other line in between, which is so cool. Going down. Nice call and response. And then that's it. Back to the... And then we've got Dwayne's part, and he's just up here. It's like, here's a C, right? So we're playing over a C. He's up here. Here's a C. This is just outlining a C chord with this one note added in there. And then instead of going down 2 frets for the B, B flat, he's just a little variation. And then... more of a jazzy thing, chromatically going right up, dancing around this note, that little target note, and then he does it again here, C, and then he stays on it and plays that call and response, and then he puts it with a slide. I'm not gonna grab a slide, but just the idea of just sliding up here from the 2nd fret up to the 7th fret. And that, he's kind of like outlining that D chord. So resolving all that tension and bringing it back to the D spot right there. And that's it. But now let's look at, how would you jam this song out, if you're hanging on the... Which, of course, I've got a backing track. I'll put a link in the description below. And at the end, an end screen card, you can just click through to try this stuff out yourself. But what would you do, jamming that out? Well, of course, you've got... in the key of D, or we're focusing on a D mixolydian, which means you have a flat 7, in this case a C. So you've got all, those notes there, but a lot of it's just focused on the D major pentatonic. So you got all that stuff right there, that works. And then, exploring around with bends, different positions and things like that. But then adding in, that flat 7. You don't have to even do it that much, but if you start adding it a little bit, it'll start adding a little bit of an edge. Maybe bending up to it. And then for more edge, adding in, the minor pentatonic, the blues scale stuff, but you don't even need it at all. Just maybe that minor third is a good one to do. And so if you're, say, up here, this position, right? People know really well. Typically, this one here. Just grab right here. So you're right here, which is an F. So it's just 3 frets higher from whatever root you're at. So, if you don't know all the places in the fretboard, this is an opportunity to try out different spots and really know where the D is. Just know this, and then know that, 3 frets up, or in this case right here, 2 frets behind it on the next string up. And you could just use that stuff for hours and hours. So experiment around, get familiar with the major pentatonic if you don't know that well, with that flat 7 in the middle mixolydian, adding that flat third in there, but just really getting to know those bends. You can just spend forever coming up with all sorts of patterns, trying at the same time, individually, all that stuff. And try it out with the track over here if you've got your guitar and you want to practice something right now, but have fun with it, of course. And I'll see you in one of the next videos.